While we were doing the socks, she says that I should be out of the house more.
Okay.
You're always home
I'm always home?
most of the times. I think you should go more.
Ah, really? You want me to leave?
Yeah.
So, Joan, you like this idea?
Yes, everything is very beautiful here.
Yeah. It's just a lot of money. It's a lot of money, Mom. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. You think you could pitch in maybe just $1,000?
Yeah.
Then your father and I will pay the rest, and you don't have to worry about anything. You just walk in and look beautiful. You know.
Great. Mommy bailing Greg out again.
Awesome!
90 Day Fiancé is about halfway through the season. And oh gee, guess what? Greg still doesn't have a job. You're probably already familiar with this couple by now, but if you're not, we have 35-year-old Greg here, and he loves to make sourdough. And that's the only dough he makes because he doesn't have a job. He also doesn't want a job and lives with his mom and doesn't pay any bills. And yet somehow he brought Joan over to the US from Uganda on the K-1 visa. And now that she is here, we're all wondering why she hasn't left yet. I mean, is a green card worth waiting to just inherit Greg's mom's house? Is that what he promised her? He had to have promised her something, right? But Greg's mom seems fine, you know, healthy. I don't think she's gonna give up her house anytime soon. So over the past few episodes, we've learned that Joan does seem to love Greg, but she has realized that he cannot provide for her. Not currently. His mom is the one providing for them. She's letting them stay in her house. They aren't paying rent or bills. And as much as Greg is more than fine with that, Joan is not fine with it. And if Greg can't get a job soon, pay her dowry, which adds up to about $3,000 for 15 cows, then she says she's going to be going back to Uganda. So not long after Joan said that, threatened to end this and go back, Greg says he has an interview. But I don't know if it's just because of how quickly he says this, but I didn't really believe him when he said that. And even Joan seems skeptical already. But we see Greg ready to go to this supposed interview.
The job that I'm going to interview for now is it's another state job. It's a lot hands-on. There's plumbing involved, there's carpentry, electrical involved. It seems like a very, very good opportunity for me.
He's got his hair all slicked back. And I would normally say, is this interview attire? But if it's plumbing, things like that, I think it could be. Funny enough, how he's dressed isn't why I don't believe he's not really going to an interview. I don't think he's going because he just doesn't want to work. And this is his way of stalling. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this man baby really can grow up. I doubt that though. So Greg leaves, and Joan and Greg's mom Lucille are alone together. We know that Joan wants to move out. She doesn't want to share space with Greg's mom. She wants their own space, which is fair. She also didn't realize that they would be staying with Greg's mom for years, not months. On the other side of that, Lucille has been babying Greg his entire life, and she has said they've always spent a lot of time together. And she seemed from the beginning reluctant to share her time with Greg with another woman. So now we're going to get to see these two interact without Greg there. And the producers have set this scene up. Because you notice like more lighting in the house all of a sudden. Imagine you're just like folding socks and there's lights and cameras in your face. So they're sorting and folding socks. And talking about how Joan is trying to get family to come out for the wedding.
Yes, but we're still waiting for appointments. There are no appointments.
Oh, they have to go through the same thing you did?
Yes.
Wow, what a process, huh?
Everything seems to be going okay at first. They aren't throwing the socks at each other. Aw, Greg has both of his mommies folding his socks. But there's this overall tension that we know about because Joan blames at least a part of her situation with Greg on Greg's mom.
I'll always be grateful for Mrs. Lucille's hospitality, but I feel like she's made it easier for Greg to stay in the house. Greg has this comfortable situation at home, but I want more for us.
She thinks she made things too easy for Greg, too comfortable for him, did too much for him. And I mean, she did. She does absolutely everything for him. But Greg is 35. So I don't think like her feelings about that should be taken out directly at Lucille, at least not in like I think, an angry way. Lucille is paying the bills, and I'm guessing paid for Joan to get to the US. And on the other side of that, although Lucille is getting her baby boy taken away from her by a woman, she does seem to want them to be comfortable. So she asks this very direct question. What is Joan not liking?
So is there anything you're not liking here? You can tell me now.
So Joan answers.
You're always home
I'm always home?
most of the times. I think you should go more.
Oh my God. How dare you always be home in your own house? I get what Joan is saying, but she could have worded it much more gently than that. She says, I'm a direct person, but like, come on. If it was switched around, like if it was their house and Greg paid all of the bills, and I don't know, maybe Lucille lived in the closet, I could see Joan being direct and saying, hey, Greg and I, we want some privacy. But that's not what's going on here.
That just offends me a little bit, that's all. Why would she say something like that?
Imagine you have someone come live with you for free. They use your house and they don't pay bills. You ask them to come stay while they get on their feet. And also add in that they're taking your sweet little baby boy from you, who's actually 35. And then this person says, hey, you're here too much. Please get out. She could have easily just been like, you know, it's been really hard to spend one-on-one time with Greg. Or maybe even like be strategic and give her tickets to go see something she likes to get her out of the house, like find a reason to get her out and do stuff. I don't know. Lucille did baby her son way too much, but I think Joan is being rude. Joan's being rude. And imagine the awkwardness in that room now. Cameras rolling. And you know that no one's like trying to move on to the next thing. They're just letting them like marinate in this awkward moment. They have to finish the whole thing of socks. Still. Leave a comment below if you think that Joan was rude. Yes, Lucille asked a very honest question and got offended by the answer. Do you think Lucille should not have been offended? Do you think Joan was rude? I'm curious what you think. I think she came off harsh. I think she could have said it differently. What's that saying? Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Okay, but in this case, don't tell the woman paying for your multiple showers a day to leave her own house.
I don't know why somebody needs 2 showers a day. I always say, oh, the royal showers coming in now, you know.
So Greg comes back, and Lucille and Joan are in different areas of the house. There's no more shared sock sorting going on. So Greg walks in and says he doesn't know if the interview went well or not. And I'm still wondering if there even was an interview or not. So Greg ran into Lucille first, and she tells him about what happened.
While we were doing the socks, she says that I should be out of the house more.
Okay.
Oh boy, an interview and someone upset mommy? What a big day for Greggy boy. So he says that Joan is direct, but goes out to talk to Joan and see what her side is.
Yeah, I told her like she should go out like more often.
Yeah. But she said she did get a little offended. She was kind of a little taken back by
I
it.
just wanted to see her reaction.
She says that she's learning how Lucille is and is testing her patience, which just by the look on Joan's face, this doesn't seem to be like a very serious conversation, even though it's kind of a serious topic. They're trying to like set it up like Joan wants Greg to take her side and not his mom's side.
He took his mom's side.
But in this case, it doesn't make any sense to do that because there wasn't a disagreement. Joan just said something that offended Lucille. They're trying to spin it into how he needs to choose her over his mom. But I don't really buy this as being a big issue. Joan doesn't look upset by Lucille being offended. Again, like there was no big blow up fight. And then on episode 11, Greg's mom suggests that they don't do the wedding at the house because it would be too much work for her. She thinks Greg won't plan well enough and she will end up doing everything. Which I mean, with the pattern of how this guy has lived his life, that's fair to assume.
I remember this little hall. Your sister had the baby shower there. And I'm thinking maybe we could go with something like that instead.
I thought at first, too, that maybe she was still mad about Joan offending her because she gets real annoyed when the dowry comes up.
Her answer, that's my culture, that's my culture. Like, lay off, Gregory.
They're all frustrated that his mom doesn't get the whole cultural part of the dowry. But I mean, that's not her problem. and not a good reason to host a 75-person wedding in her house. So they go look at a venue. And to my surprise, Lucille offers to pay for the wedding.
It's a lot of money, Mom, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. You think you could pitch in maybe just $1,000?
Yeah.
Then your father and I will pay the rest, and you don't have to worry about anything. You just walk in and look beautiful.
So Lucille is definitely not that offended if she's willing to pay. Joan doesn't seem thrilled with the offer. She wants her fiancé to take care of things, not her mother-in-law. Greg lights up and is all for it. But you can tell that Joan is like, great. Mommy bailing Greg out again.
To feed me, they have to take care of me already. We are already staying in her house, so seeing her offering to pay for it, so I'm like, wow.
I swear, Joan, that's how you got here. Greg's mom paid your way to the US. She does seem to appreciate it, but yeah, now it's going to be really hard to back out and fly back to Uganda. Greg's mom also mentions how Joan is always helping out, which makes me think even more that the whole sock scene was just fluff. We're getting that in-between scripted stuff that's filling in between big moments. But I do believe the story of Greg not working and living with his mom being true. But that's the drama. There doesn't seem to be much else of drama going on. I think they're just trying to create a few extra scenarios to fill in time. His mom and she mentioned his dad are helping pay for the wedding. And she says that Joan does help out. So she's not completely against this whole thing and definitely doesn't want Greg to be single, it looks like. Also, I'm wondering if we will see Greg's dad and what he thinks of Greg's situation at home. If they have a wedding and he's around, I'm guessing we'll see him, right? Make sure to follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. And also, this is my QR code to my Snapchat. Make sure to follow my public profile. I will be posting often on there. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye!